all?
Doing good. We're talking about the early signs of these first three practices and some of the guys that stood out, some of the things that have stood out. How about for you?
Yeah, just some names that come to my head immediately. Jamar Chase looks really good.
Yeah.
I got to see some one-on-ones with him and Derek Stingley. That was, I mean, gosh, I paid tickets to watch that every day. It was special. Those both of those guys are really good, but Chase just looks, I mean, he looks really, really sharp right now. I think Joe Burrow's throwing the ball really well. He's made a few throws the last few days, but he just looks really, really confident, really under control. Everyone that we talk to, all the players say that he's really got control of this offense, and they just have so much confidence in him. And then, you just mentioned him, Kayvon Chason. I mean, I was telling somebody this the other day. He looks like the best pass rusher that I've seen at LSU since I've been covering the team since 2010, 2011. Just physically, I mean, we got to see games and everything, but just physically, the condition that he's in, the way he's moving, every time he does a rep in individual drills or even in one-on-ones or team stuff later, I mean, Ed Orgeron's just gushing about him. So he looks really good as well. I mean, there's a bunch of guys. I could list a bunch of guys. Those names that stand out.
Yeah, the visor is a great accessory to 18 as well. These freshman running backs, John Emery, Ty Davis-Price, look like they fit in early on. What do you make of them after seeing them on the field for the first 3 days?
Yeah, Ty Davis is huge. I mean,
he
looks like an upperclassman. He's a man. He's going to be really, really good. He's moving well. I think with both of those guys, it's still just learning the offense, being in the right spots, making sure you're on the right side of the quarterback before the snap, that kind of stuff that takes time to learn because it's a new offense. It's complicated. The calls are complicated. You're getting everything from the sideline, so you got to be on top of all that. John Emery looks great. I mean, I saw him break off a long run the other day. He's got an extra gear for sure. He's got that extra gear that you can see why he was the number one running back in America. He gets an open field. He's going to make somebody miss. He's going to run past you. So both of those guys are really good. And we talked about this on the first episode of the podcast. You're going to need all those guys in that room. You can't – the days of giving a guy, 20, 25 carries a game, those are pretty much behind you. You got to use guys. You got to keep guys fresh. You got to be versatile in the backfield. So I think both those guys are going to help this year. I think they're both going to have big moments.
Talking to Cody Worsham, LSU media director, also has a brand new LSU football podcast, which you should go check out. Cody, one of the position battles that I have an eye on is that guard battle. That Adrian McGee looks like these are the ones right now. Chasen Hines running with the twos. Do you expect it to stay that way by the time the season starts?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, they're going to have three or four scrimmages before the season starts, and I think a lot of it's going to be based on that. I think what you've seen early with some of the first-team, second-team stuff is a lot of the veterans getting the nod early. Adrian McGee at left guard. Thad Moss was working with the ones at tight end. Stephon Sullivan was out for the first practice because he graduated, but Moss was working with the tight ends. You saw Clyde starting with the offense at running back. I think some of those young guys will get shots. I think what Ed Orgeron has done in years past is the veterans get the nod early. You start working in the other guys. You see how they fit. I did see Chasen Hines yesterday taking snaps at center. I think that's something to keep an eye on because to have somebody at center that can help you in case you lose Lloyd Cushenberry. But, yeah, I think McGee's got the first nod at it. It's his job to lose, but I think Hines and I think some of those other guys are Cardell Thomas, I think they're all going to be in the mix.
So staying in the center of the field, but on the opposite side of the ball, what about the big boy, Shelvin and Ika? What's that rotation been like thus far? How they look?
It looks like they look really good. I mean, they look really nimble. Just kind of watch them move around in drills. They're carrying their weight really, really well. I think, I would expect Shelvin to be the guy for now, but I think Ika's going to be on his heels, and I think they like that aspect of competition. Shelvin is a guy that when he's motivated and he's in the shape that he's in right now, he could be really special. And I know Aku looked really, really good in the spring game. I think when he takes that next step up to going against first-team guys instead of second-team guys, there's still some things that he's got to work on just as a freshman, as a young guy. I think Shelvin's got the experience factor there. I think he's motivated. He's lighter than he's ever been at LSU. And he's moved really well. And so, the defense is going to be multiple, and they'll run some sets where they've got that nose guard in there. They'll run some sets where, they're going with Fahoko and Lawrence and Glenn Logan inside. And and going with a 4-man front. So, but I think both of those guys are going to be very important. I like Shelvin right now. I think he looks really good when he's, like I said, when he's motivated, when he's got somebody pushing him and he's bringing his A game. He's really good.
Hey Fightin' Podcast. You can find it at the Apple Podcast Store. You can follow Cody on Twitter at Cody Worsham. You mentioned Thad Moss. I told T-Bob in the earlier segment there's probably been cumulatively about a week's worth of healthy workouts in covering LSU football since Moss has transferred in for me in watching LSU practice. But he looked good out there on Friday and through the weekend. What can he bring this offense if he stays on the field?
Yeah, he's a pass catcher. I mean, he can go run a route. He can get into coverage and make a play. He's got good hands. I haven't seen him drop a pass yet. I mean, I'm not saying he hasn't dropped one, but when I've been watching him, he's held on to everything, so he's real secure with his hands. He knows how to play the game. He's pretty high IQ, and he can block too. I think he's probably one of the better combo guys. You've got a lot of specialists in there. Stephon Sullivan is definitely the pass catcher of the group. You've got some guys behind them that, TK McClendon coming in. He's more of a blocking kind of guy. Jamal Pettigrew can do a little bit of both. But I think Thad is probably the best balance of a guy who can get in there, who can block a little bit, and who can also go out and make some catches and help you in the passing game. So I think the tight end position is going to be very different this year for LSU than it's been in the past. I think it's going to be a lot more route running. I think it's going to be a lot more pass catching and check downs and safety situations. And he's good for that. I mean, I don't think he's super, super explosive necessarily, but I think he's really solid. I think he's got good hands. He knows how to play, and he knows how to get open and make catches. So he's looked good. That's the biggest thing, Jordy. You said it. He's been on the field. He's been healthy. He's been practicing. He hadn't had to miss anything. If he can string together a good camp here and just stay healthy, he's going to play.
Cody, so there's a lot of talk about the green team. This is like the cheetah package of years past. This is the pass rush squad. Who's on the green team?
Yeah, I don't know right now. If I had to guess, I'd start with Caleb Chase. He had a pretty funny comment the other day. So I think someone asked him if he was on the green team, and he said his water wet. So water is wet, and Caleb Chase is on the green team, I would imagine. Beyond that, I don't know. Andre Anthony has looked really good. I mean, he has had some reps in camp that have really stood out to me. He looks really athletic. He looks really nimble. I wouldn't be shocked if he's on there. Michael Divinity, I think, will be on there in some capacity, whether he's on the outside or the inside, as well as he got after the quarterback last year. I saw a stat that of all the pass rushers coming back in the SEC, Michael Divinity was the most productive in terms of sacks and pressures and hurries and all that stuff. He had the most of anyone coming back. So you got to think he's on there. And then, you might mix in some nickels, some quarters like Jacoby Stevens, Grant Delpit. Maybe Marcel Brooks gets in there because of the way that he can move off the edge. So I think that green team is going to be kind of fast and guys that can get after the quarterback. And then, you kind of figure it out from the inside. Whoever's your best coming from the inside. Rashard Lawrence, if he plays like he did in that bowl game, you think he's in there. Fahoko has looked really good and healthy. He's probably in there. So I think the competition's still open, but those are some guys that I'd expect to be on that green team.
Which day each week will you publish the podcast?
Yeah, right now it's kind of a floating schedule because of camp. You just try to pin down some guys when you can. I'm thinking Tuesday and Thursday during camp. We'll see. I've already talked with Stephon Sullivan, with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Got a couple more conversations with guys coming out pretty soon. So right now we'll say Tuesday and Thursday, but it's going to be kind of floating in camp. It's just adjusting to their schedule.
Just subscribe to it over there. Make sure and rate and review it as well. Hate Fighting Podcast over at the Apple Store. Cody Worsham, who's the author of that podcast weekly, joining us here on Off the Bench. Thank you, man. See you out at camp.
All right, fellas. Thanks.
We'll close that
Cody.
hour one next.